One of the first places we form a concept of truthfulness and keeping our word is really in the family. And when I was growing up, one of the things I really appreciated about my father was he would really do what he says he will do. And my siblings could depend on him to be at an event that he said he would be at. We could depend on him to fulfill a promise he committed to. And even something simple like he would tell us, you know what, if you call me, even if I'm in a meeting, I will pick up the phone. And he was really faithful to that. Recently, I experienced this again. I didn't know he was in a meeting with very important government officials when I phoned him, and he picked up the phone. I only realized it when I was talking to him. He wasn't in a rush to get me off the phone, but I realized, oh my goodness, he's in a very important meeting. So I said, Dad, you know what, go ahead, go back to your meeting. It's okay, we can talk later. But afterwards, I messaged him, you know what, Dad, thank you for answering my call. It really made me feel special. It meant a lot to me that I could still trust him to be there, that he still answered the phone like he told my siblings and I, even when we were kids. You know, even my own children know that Ang Kong, their grandpa, is dependable. When he says, okay, I'm going to take you to such and such a place, or we'll get milkshakes later, he will try to find a way to fulfill it. And when he'll ask them, does Ang Kong keep his word? And they'll all say, yes. And so they really have a trust and respect for him. And I know that when he stands here on stage preaching, they know that they can believe what he says about God because he's reflected that truthfulness. Now, Edric and I are parents, and so as parents, we've been convicted to do the same thing because we can talk about God's ways and we can talk about his truths, but one of the best ways to demonstrate to our children that God is a promise-keeping God is that we keep our promise too, even in the small things. So the other night, we have 5 kids, so my youngest is Catalina, and she really wanted the gumball from the gumball machine. And Edric said, you know, I don't have 5 pesos right now, but later, I will get it for you. Now, I thought, you know, for a 5-year-old, maybe 1 hour later she might forget, but she didn't forget. And Edric also did not forget, and he said, guess what, I have 5 pesos. Let's go back to the gumball machine in the mall, and we will get your gumball. So she was so excited. They went together, and when she put in the 5 peso coin, the gumball came out, and Edric asked her, does Daddy keep his promise? And she jumped and said, yes. Mendozas always keep their promises. Now, okay, that was probably a lie. Because to be honest, our family is still young and our kids are growing in this area, and so are we. But we really try to instill this as a value in our home. Even when our kids make commitments and they're stuck in a bind because they promised to do something, we encourage them, you know what, you have to fulfill it. So recently, one of our sons, he volunteered for this camp. He was very eager. He said, I'm going to make the website. I'll build the website. I'll do the registration. And then as the weeks were leading up to the retreat, he realized this is a lot of work. It was taking him lots of hours. He was very tired. He was exhausted. He had many other responsibilities he had to get done. And I remember looking at him as a mom, and I thought, I should rescue him. How can I get him out of this commitment? But since we want to be a promise-keeping family, and he also knew this, he said, Mom, I'm going to get it done. I said, Hun, that's good, because if you committed to do it, you should find a way to get it done no matter what. And you know what? The great thing is God provided the grace for him to get it done well. And so as a family, I just want you to know we're not perfect in this area. We're still growing, but by God's grace, we really want to honor our word because we know that if we do so, it reflects on God's character. And we want our kids to grow up believing that God is a truth-telling God, that he can be depended upon. Then we need to do the same in our homes. So to God be the glory.